Hello guys, welcome to my channel. Welcome to today's video. Hope you guys are doing great. Today's video is going to be some recommendations from my side. These are going to be all high-end makeup recommendations in the face makeup category. I will cover brushes and eye makeup in a separate video. Today we're going to talk about foundations, concealers, blushes, bronzers, some of my favorites which I think I highly recommend. And since the Black Friday is also coming up, I thought let me make this video and let you guys know some of my favorites. A sale is a great time to get some high-end products because generally these are very expensive, so a good sale does bring down the amount quite a lot. So this is a very exciting time for all of us. So if you guys have been interested to check out some high-end products, you want to invest in some good ones, then please do continue watching this video. Okay guys, let's get started with the video. I have quite a lot of products in front of me and I'm not giving out too many recommendations, just some very selected few products which I love, and I'm going to go through quite quickly hopefully, and I will link the relevant videos in the description box in case you want more details on that product. Okay, so let's start off with primer. First of all, I have dry skin and I'm on NC44, so just keep that in mind as a reference. For dry skin, I love hydrating primers. There are 3 primers which I will highly recommend for hydrating for dry skin. These are hydrating primers. First one is the Fenty Beauty Primer, the hydrating one. It is amazing. It just plumps up the skin so well and makeup goes on very smoothly on this. So I love this. And also the Benefit Professional Primer. This is a new one which I have purchased, and this one is actually also not very old which I have purchased. Love both of these primers. The Benefit one does a little bit of pore filling as well. It's a little bit different than the original Benefit Professional Primer. This one is hydrating, and the hydrating version hydrates the skin as well. So pore filling nature of this primer is less, hydrating nature is more, and that's why I love this primer. And there's another one, the Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. That is also amazing. I think I myself am going to pick up that one too because I am going to run out of this primer very soon. And also the Becca First Light Priming Filter. If I can, I would like to get that as well. So these 4 I think are my top favorite hydrating primers, and I just go around these 4 primers. One pore filling primer which I really like is the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer. So this pore filling primerizer will help to make the skin look a little bit poreless. The Benefit Professional I think is more pore filling than this one, but the texture of the Benefit Professional is very matte and drying for me. I don't really like it that much. I prefer this one, the Smashbox one, because it does smoothen out the skin, but it's not as matte as the Benefit Professional. But if you have oily skin, you might like the Benefit Professional better. So it all depends on your personal preference. So these are the primer recommendations I have for you. Next, let's move quickly to the foundations. Okay, now I have dry skin. There are 2 foundations I will highly recommend. The Too Faced Born This Way foundation and the Fenty Beauty Hydrating Foundation. These will give a nice glow on the skin. If you want more coverage, you can go for this one, the Fenty Hydrating Foundation. I use the shade 345. It gives a very nice coverage, but it doesn't look very heavy or cakey. It's beautiful on the skin. It's just beautiful. I sometimes it's very hard for me to choose between these 2 foundations. This one of course is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. It's been a long time favorite and I love this foundation so much. This also has a very nice glowy finish, but it's more natural. It is going to look more like your skin, although the coverage of this one is also very good. So both of these are hydrating, glowy, sort of not too glowy, but glowy foundations. And in the Too Faced one I use the shade Caramel 345. Okay, so these foundations I will highly recommend for dry skin. If you have dry skin and you want soft matte foundations, or if you have combo oily skin, these 2 foundations are great. First one is of course the Fenty Soft Matte Foundation. This also I really like. Now the soft matte foundations usually I wear over a primer like this, a hydrating primer or a glowy primer. The finish is absolutely gorgeous and I love that matte finish on the skin because it's very long wearing and it doesn't budge or move around too much. You don't have to set it even. So that's why I really like natural matte foundations. So the Fenty Beauty shade 345, same as the hydrating version. It's great. Okay, so this is one recommendation, definitely. Lot of coverage. And the other one which I recently reviewed on the channel is the NARS Soft Matte Foundation. This is a newer addition to my collection and I'm really liking it. It just makes the skin look poreless, smooth, without looking too heavy, cakey, and it dries down matte but it's not uncomfortable, and I think that's the best part about this foundation. The Fenty one also, after a point it gets a little bit drying on the skin, but I don't mind that too much, but this one doesn't feel drying on the skin. So I love this. Definitely give this one a try. This is a new one from NARS if you are looking for soft matte foundations. Okay, so there are 4 foundations, I think, liquid foundations, which I will like to recommend. I have a full video of liquid foundations which match my skin tone correctly, and I will leave that in the description box below if you want more foundation recommendations. We'll like to recommend 2 stick foundations as well. Like for everyday use, I love stick foundations and they work great as like a quick concealing as well. So this one is the Hourglass stick foundation in the shade Amber. This is what I have on my face today. Very natural looking, good coverage, but it doesn't look unnatural, looks very natural on the skin, very long wearing on the skin, and it gives a nice, like a healthy look to the skin as well. So I will definitely recommend. I have dry skin, love this one. And I am also really enjoying this one from Huda Beauty, the stick foundation, the new one. So if you want to try a newer stick foundation, you can try this one as well. I have the shade Toffee, and this also has a more natural matte finish and it's waterproof. This thing is waterproof, so it's very long wearing on the face, and this one also looks great. And I've used this in one of the Get Ready With Me videos recently, so I will leave all the related videos in the description box below. Okay, moving on to some concealers. I have some concealer recommendations because I think during these times when we are wearing a lot of masks, I use concealers the most, even more than foundations. I use soft matte foundations, or I use foundation sticks, or I use just concealers, and that's about it. Just a little bit of concealing, highlighting around the eye area, and that's about it. If I know I am going to take off the mask, if I'm sitting in a restaurant, then I do some concealing here as well around the lipstick. But yeah, concealers are what I'm using the most these days. So some concealer recommendations which I love: the Too Faced Born This Way concealers, amazing concealers, very natural looking, very lightweight, not too matte, not too dewy. They look so beautiful under the eyes and for coverage as well if you want to do actual concealing. So I have 2 shades, Honey and Chestnut. I have recently used this in the same video as the Huda Beauty one, so I will leave that in the description box below. By the way, for the Too Faced Born This Way concealer, both the shades don't match me perfectly. I'm going to get the shade Warm Sand when it's in stock in Sephora here. But yeah, both are excellent concealers and I mix and match and use both the shades. The next concealer which I want to recommend is this one from Jouer. Oh my god, these are so amazing. Such a nice coverage. It gives a lot of coverage, more than the Too Faced one, but it looks so natural and not heavy, not cakey. Underneath the eyes, around the mouth, for any kind of concealing which you want to use, these are great. So I will definitely recommend the Jouer high coverage concealers. I have 2 shades, Ginger and Rich Ginger and Amber, and these are the closest warm toned shades which I have. There is no shade in between, so these are also not perfect match, but I mix these 2 shades for concealing around the mouth. If you're close to my skin tone, one shade I will recommend is Rich Ginger. It works great underneath the eyes. Underneath the eyes, they look flawless. Today also I have used this and I just love the finish of this concealer. So the consistency, the formulation, it's great, and this concealer doesn't even crease that much. It's amazing. Another holy grail status concealer, the Pat McGrath Labs concealer. Do try this one. It's one of the best ones I have tried so far. I have the shade M18 and this one also works great for concealing Not so much of a highlighting because it's very close to my skin tone, but it's great for concealing around this area as well. Sometimes I will layer this concealer with another concealer for highlighting. This is great. The consistency, the texture, how beautiful it looks. This gives such a smooth finish. Very similar to the Jouer one. So love it. Love the finish of this concealer. Definitely I will recommend this. And another pot concealer which I've recently reviewed and I'm loving it so much, the consistency, the texture, the NARS soft matte concealer. This is also, I think, a newer launch if I'm not wrong. I have the shade Caramel. This is how the shade looks like. It works great for concealing, spot concealing around the mouth, pigmentation. It's very nice and creamy but on the thicker side, so it works great for covering up any problem areas you want to cover. So this is also a new concealer which I will highly recommend. I think, yeah, those are the foundations and concealers I will recommend. If you want to try out something new, then do give these a try. For powders, I don't have a high-end pressed powder currently. I use the Maybelline powder and the Revlon powder. I think I don't use powders that much. Even pressed powders I don't really use that much. I have the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Flawless Finish powder, but this one I use for underneath the eyes only. I don't know if everybody is as crazy as me to buy such an expensive powder for underneath the eyes for setting the concealer, but if you are looking into this powder, then you can definitely get it. It's a very smooth, it almost feels like a light veil of powder on the face. It is not going to give a lot of coverage. It just makes the skin look a little bit more put together. I wouldn't say there's a lot of drastic change or a lot of coverage, but definitely the skin feels more smoother and very pretty, I would say. So this is also a great powder, although I will recommend a different shade if you want it to be for your entire face. If you're close to my skin tone, I have the shade Medium, which is a little bit light for my entire face. I use it for underneath the eyes and I just got it for that purpose. So just a little side note on the Airbrush Flawless powder. Two powders which I will really recommend for setting the face are loose powders, and that's what I usually use most of the time. I will apply a little bit of powder underneath the eyes and the center of the face where I have concealer. Towards the perimeter of the face or my cheeks, I don't really apply a lot of powder, so I just use pressed powder sometime, or if a soft matte foundation I don't even use that much powder. So for that purpose I have these two powders which I will highly recommend. The Laura Mercier translucent setting powder in the shade Honey. If you want a powder for all over your face and you're close to my skin tone, this one works great. I recently did a video on it, so I'm not going to talk too much about it. This is a really fine, smooth, finely milled powder. The same one goes for Hourglass as well. This is also such a beautiful powder. I'm wearing it today underneath the eyes and all over the face a little bit. This also is super beautiful, very finely milled, and you get a nice subtle glow as well. So I love that about this powder. This one is more matte. This one is going to give a little bit of a glow. So definitely I will recommend these two powders. Okay, let's quickly go to some blushes, bronzers and highlighters. Before that, one palette which I will highly recommend for the brows. I used to buy a lot of brow pencils, and after I've found this product, I feel like I don't have to buy a brow pencil for a really long time, and this is going to save me a lot of money because I used to go for Nabla Brow Divine or the ABH Brow Wiz, and instead of that I have found this palette, the Benefit Brow Zing palette, and I have the palette in medium deep. So this is for brow hairs which are on the deeper side. So with this palette you get two double-ended brushes for your brow hairs. You get two pomades, two shades, one highlighting, one brow wax, and four more powders here in different tones. Okay, let me just take out the brush. Let me show you properly here. So you can see all the tones of powders here and the two pomades, and that's what I have on my eyebrows today. I am loving this brow palette. I I can't believe I didn't have a brow palette for so many years. This is super convenient. I usually use the pomade and the powders together, and it doesn't take time. It's super quick, and I get some really nice looking brows. And I think this is more cost effective just to get a brow palette. I think earlier I couldn't find a brow palette which would match my brow hairs perfectly, and I have finally found one. And I think I'm not going to go back to brow pencils anytime soon, because I find this is super convenient, and this one is more cost effective than using brow pencils. So definitely do check this one out, the Benefit Browsing. I am really liking it, and I am going to do a video on this one on the other channel for palettes, and I'm going to show you how I do my brows with this one. Okay, so stay tuned for that. Okay, so let's move on to some blushes, bronzers. For bronzer, I will recommend one bronzer. That's the Benefit Hoola Caramel Bronzer. I think this is one of my favorites, and I just love this bronzer. The Too Faced Dark Chocolate Soleil Bronzer is also one of my favorites. I have it back there somewhere. That's also great if you want to get it, but this is amazing. I just love this bronzer. It's super smooth and it works on my skin tone so well. This is the bronzer I have on my skin today. It's just super smooth and blends effortlessly. The color of the bronzer, it's nice and warm. I just love it. So definitely, if you are looking for a good high-end bronzer to invest in, you're close to my skin tone, NC44, Benefit Hoola Caramel. Great bronzer. Okay, now some blushes. Now for blushes, I don't have a lot of powder blush recommendations. If you want to get Too Faced Tarte blushes, I think they are okay. I would still recommend going for some newer kind of powder blush formulas, especially if in high-end, if you want to try. I will say go for some newer kinds. I personally don't have a lot of high-end powder blushes currently which are new. The last ones I purchased were the Cover FX monochromatic blush duos. These are so good. After these, I have not bought powder blushes that much from the high-end category. Okay, so these I will highly recommend. I have the blush Warm Honey today, which is this one. Highly recommend this shade if you're close to my skin tone. It's like a peachy pink with a little bit of orange color. It's super beautiful. Warm Honey for my skin tone. And this is the glowy side of the blush. You can top it up with this one. I haven't done that today. I have a highlighter on, but this is like a must-have kind of a product. These products are so good. This blush is so good. I have another shade, Spiced Cinnamon, which is also amazing. It's more on the berry pink side. It's a little bit more deeper. This looks more pink on the skin, and this also I love. And this highlight side is also super smooth in these blushes, and I will highly recommend these. And yeah, as I mentioned, after buying these powder blushes, I have not bought high-end powder blushes. I feel like blushes are something which you can get at the drugstore as well. They have pretty good decent pigmentation, especially powder blushes. I think you can get at the drugstore as well. What I will recommend from high-end are to get glowy blushes, which the drugstore is not able to do that nicely. So I have these blushes from Hourglass. This one is Vivid Flush, which was like a limited edition product, but you get Hourglass blushes. If you're close to my skin tone, I particularly will not recommend any Hourglass blush. Okay, if you're not my skin tone, you are lighter than me, then you can go in for some Hourglass blushes. This was a limited edition one which I like. The formulation is amazing, but from any of the permanent ones, I will not recommend any. I will tell you to go for other glowy blushes. You can go in for the Laura Mercier blushes. They have a glowy version as well and a matte one as well. So this one is the Color Infusion blush in Grapefruit. This one is also glowy blush. It's super beautiful. It's so smooth, so beautiful, so finely milled, and the brush picks up the product so nicely. This is how this color looks like. It looks very bright in the pan, but it shears out so beautifully on the skin. So I love these Laura Mercier blushes, and if I can, I would like to get the peach shade also. Let's see if I can get it this Black Friday. I would love to get the peach shade. Another one which is really one of my favorites is the Fenty. Now this is a highlighter from Fenty, the Kilowatt highlighter. These are also really good. The deeper shades you can actually use as blushes, and this one also, it looks super stark and intense in the pan, but it shears out so beautifully, and it just gives a nice smooth glow. These do not have like chunks of glitter or anything like that. They are very smooth. So if you're looking for like true glowy blushes, you can check out these two brands. They have nice ones, and I think glowy blushes are something which I haven't found that good ones at the drugstore. Also cream blushes, you can check out cream blushes if you want to get some high-end cream blushes. There are so many good blushes. Definitely the Fenty cream blushes are really good. I have one which I reviewed recently. This one has a lot of sparkle and shimmer, but the cream formula I hear are very good. They have a lot of beautiful shades, some unique shades as well. So you can check out the Fenty cream blushes. I have heard good reviews about this one. And also I have one more which is not that easily available, but if you're in US, you can try the Kaja blushes. These are the Mochi Pop. This is how this one looks like. I have the shade Atmosphere. I wear this so much. It's a very subtle, natural pink, very happy pink, but not too bright. It's a nice medium tone pink shade. Love it. It's a nice cream to powder sort of a formula. It's not very creamy. The Fenty one is quite creamy, and you can like when you apply it, it feels like a cream. This one, it almost feels like you're applying a powder, but it's actually like a cream blush. It blends out super smooth. So this is also a great one which I have. So not too many blush recommendations, but some formulas which I have really loved, and you can look into them. Okay, now let's look at some highlighters, and that's my last category for today. If you want some good highlighters, I have recently done a video as well on drugstore highlighters as well as high-end highlighters. I will link those videos in the description box as well. But if you want to get really good quality smooth highlighters with not that much glitter in them or shimmer, the Jouer highlighters, oh my god, they are so beautiful. I have two of them, Topaz and Skinny Dip. Both work great on my skin tone. This one is Skinny Dip. This is how this one looks like. It's like a muted white gold sort of a color, and it gives such a smooth glow. And this one is Topaz. And I think in the highlighter video I have applied all of these highlighters on my face, so do check that video out. I'm not going to mess up this makeup now. Okay, must have if you're close to my skin tone, a highlighter which I will highly recommend is the Balm Born Illuminizer. If you just want one highlighter, you're close to my skin tone, just want one highlighter and that's about it, get Born Illuminizer and you will be done. This is such a beautiful highlighter for our kind of skin tone. Yes, I have the packaging. I just love the packaging, it's so cute. Okay, so this is a gold warm toned highlighter. If you are lighter than me, then you can use Mary Luminizer, which is a more champagne highlighter. This one is champagne gold. It has a lot of warmth to it. For my kind of skin tone, this one is perfect. This is a perfect highlighter. Not a lot of glitter, chunky shimmers, nothing. It looks very smooth. You may see occasional shimmer here and there, but not too much. So this is great. Another one which I have recommended in my other video as well are these Ofra highlighters. I will highly recommend this one, or Beverly Hills highlighter. This one has these 5 shades in there, so you can mix the shades together and apply, or you can apply one of the shades. I usually stick around this 3. So these 3 work great on my skin tone. These also don't have shimmer, glitter. They are just super smooth, and the glow, oh my god. If you are a lover of intense highlighter, intense glow, then you need to look into these highlighters because these are intense. The previous 2 which I showed you were nice. You can apply them subtly as well, and you can build them up in intensity. These ones are intense at one go. Okay, so the Ofra highlighters are really good. I have some Nabla highlighters. Highly recommend some Nabla highlighters as well. This one which I am wearing today, look at that beautiful glow. It's a bronzy gold glow. This is from this highlighter from Nabla. This is the Sundance highlighter, and I am not too sure if you can get it though. Whoops, I should have checked before, but yeah, do check if you can get it on Beauty Bay. Sundance, beautiful highlighter. But they have newer highlighters. These are also really good. These are called skin glazing highlighters. This is how these look like. Look at the packaging, they're just so beautiful. This is the skin glazing highlighter in Truth, and I love this shade. It's like a light pinky rosy kind of highlighter, and it looks so pretty on the cheeks. It gives a light pink sort of a hue as well. It looks like a blush topper. Super smooth, no chunky glitters. They're just super smooth on the skin. I love this one, especially Truth. I will highly recommend this one. And I have one more, which is Lucent Jungle, which looks like this, which is more gold. This is how this one looks like. This is also amazing on my skin tone. I love this one as well. This one, however, I do have to buff in a little bit more to make it look smooth. This one doesn't need that much effort. This one needs a little bit of effort, but once it's done, the skin just looks so beautiful. These are also, I would say, medium subtlety highlighters. They are not too intense, not too subtle. They're just right in between. I love these as well. And if you are into Melt Cosmetics or indie makeup, these highlighters, Genesis highlighter, I have one, but I am sure all the other shades are also amazing. You can check out this as well. I have the shade Genesis. You can check out other shades. Amazing highlighter. Look at that packaging. It's super pretty, and it has that peachy gold kind of a vibe. This highlighter looks so beautiful on the skin as well. This also looks like a blush topper, but it's more peachy gold, and it doesn't look as pink. So you get different sort of looks with different highlighters. I think gone are the days when we used to say, highlighters, how different are they going to look on your skin? Trust me, there are different kind of highlighters today, and they all can look different on the skin. The texture, how they finish on the skin, the color. I mean, nowadays you just can't have one highlighter. If you pick your highlighters correctly, they are going to look very different on your skin. Like today I have this one, the Nabla powder highlighter. This one looks very different than this one. This one looks very different than this one, and this one looks very different than the Melt one I just showed you. So if you choose your highlighter shades correctly according to your skin tone, then it's going to give a nice different look to your skin, and yeah, you're going to glow. So yeah, do check out, do expand your horizons and see if there are any different kind of products you would like to try this time. So that's my video for today. Those are all the product recommendations I had for you, which I have personally tried. So that's it for today's video, guys. I hope this was helpful. Let me know, what are you planning to pick up this Black Friday? I have picked up another highlighter this Black Friday. Beauty Bay was having their sale. They're still having their sale, and I picked one of the Jouer powder highlighters. I love this formula so much. I have picked up Tan Lines. It was on a very good discount as well, so it's coming. I will see how that one works out for my skin tone. So do let me know, what are you planning to pick up, and give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. If you have any other recommendations, do drop them in the comment section below. And if you are first time here, then please do consider subscribing. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys really soon in my next video. Bye.